What's up, guys? We are live for the post game of the Saints versus Panthers. I'm going to tell you, our defense put up a fight today, but Cam Newton's bad decision making and the fumble by DJ Moore did us in. What was the most frustrating, and what's been the most frustrating every game of this now 6 game losing streak is the fact that every time we get a drive going and something good happens on our drives, something bad happens to counteract it and it kills our drives. Either we do something stupid like a holding penalty or something out of our control happens and it just kills our drive every time. Whether it be Cam throwing a bad pass into double coverage, triple coverage, even, and then, you know, just stupid stuff where we just shoot ourselves in the foot. And everybody on this sideline's just going, oh, yeah, we'll bounce back. We'll get those points eventually. We'll get them sometime during the game. Well, bad drive after bad drive. Here we are back in the fourth quarter. We're down by 3 points again. And we choke. Again. Within 7 points. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Ron's going to give that same old, oh, well, it's just a few plays that could have changed the entire game speech again. It honestly, I'm so sick of hearing that. And I know Panthers fans are too. Like, this is ridiculous. How many more of these games are we going to play before we finally decide, oh, hey, it's time to wake up and get some points before the end of the fourth quarter, and we're down with another loss again? How many more games? Tepper's already put these guys on notice in the coaching staff. We've already fired assistant coaches. What more do you need? What what more do we have to do to get W's? Like, I don't know, guys. Like, and then we get that fluke play that where he fumbles it out of bounds for a touchback, and it gives us another chance, and we still screw that up. We have got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot every chance that we get. I mean, this game had me believing for 3 quarters that we actually had a shot. Our defense finally played with some fire. Christian McCaffrey was starting to light up the stat boards, and we were starting to move the chains with decent passes for a while. And then all of a sudden, every drive, here comes another situation where we shoot ourselves in the foot. I don't know about y'all, but I'm fed up with this. Something's got to give. That defense played with so much heart today, and our offense let them down. We go for 5 games where our defense doesn't show up and our offense does. But yet they keep choking in critical situations. Now it's flip flopped. Our defense shows up, and our offense just decides, oh, we're not going to put up any points today. I mean, we got a total of 7 points offensively. 7. That's a joke. That is a straight joke in the league right now. We're fighting for a wild card spot, and we put up 7 points. Any of this ring a bell to the coaching staff after we went 6 and we had a 6-win season in 2016? Here we go again. I'm so done watching Ron Rivera give the same old "oh, it was a few plays" excuse every game. Every game. I'm so sick and tired of it. And I'm one of Ron's biggest supporters. I was up until this year. But now I'm starting to join the bandwagon right now because I've got my own grievances with the man. When when you fail to use clock management correctly as a coach, you fail to use timeouts correctly, and then you have to take over the entire defense because your defensive coordinator is garbage. Ron, I don't even know what to tell you. You got one more year, dude. That's as far as I'm willing to stretch this bandwagon here and support for you. That's as far as I'm willing to take it. If you don't start getting your act together this coming year, I'm joining the bandwagon with everybody else and I'm calling for your job. Because this is getting ridiculous. There's a point where you just you can't tolerate mediocrity. Words right now, words just elude me after this loss. That's all I got for you right at the second, because I can't even believe DJ Moore. Can we just talk about how that fumble was such a rookie mistake, DJ? Can we? Come on, man. Cover the rock. That was even worse than Cam. Every single time he runs the ball. That was even worse. Oh, like, I didn't even want to do this post game stream today, man. I didn't want to do it. But you know what? I'm at the point where we need a tank. 5% chance. And I know some people were just like, oh, we got a chance if we put pressure on Breeze. We got a chance, And we held him to 13 points. We held him to 13. What more do you want on defense? When you hold Breeze to 13 points, what more can you possibly accomplish? I don't even know. There was pressure on him all night long. Yeah, to get those balls out. And This loss hurts, guys. This loss hurts a lot. I'll give most of the defense their due, because they came out there with heart. They came out there with passion. That's everything I've been looking for and asking for the past 5 weeks here. They finally did it, and then our offense chokes. Do you need a shutout in order for you to do your job properly? In order for you to use your brain and throw to people that are actually open? I'm just at a total loss as to why we just can't seem to put both sides of the ball together at the same time. I'm at a total loss. We've seen flashes from both sides every game of this losing streak, and we somehow can't put it together. 9 points. Pathetic. Pathetic. From a wild card team. That is pathetic. Alright, we're going to go down the list again with positions. Position by position, like I normally do. I after that Browns loss, I didn't even want to do grading at all, but for this one I will, because these guys have earned it. They played well enough, they've earned it. Alright, so let's go on down the list here. Quarterback, Cam Newton's inaccuracy puts him at a C+. I'm just trying to tell y'all, his inaccuracy puts him at a C+, because I've seen it. I've seen flashes of it all game long. And for all this shoulder soreness nonsense, he doesn't get a free pass for that. That's just him making poor decisions for the majority of the game. Yeah, some of them were overthrown, some of them were underthrown. Sure. That's his shoulder. I'm giving him the C+ grade because of his bad decision making. In clutch situations where he had no business throwing it to somebody that was never open when he had a wide open guy somewhere else on the field. So C+ for Cam Newton. Oh, and by the way, he is garbage in the red zone. Garbage. I mentioned that at halftime, and I'm going to mention it again. He is garbage in the red zone in the past 5 games. 6 now, counting this one. He had no business throwing that ball up for grabs for a 50-50 when he knows that it's a 20-yard throw, and he has no way of getting that to his receiver when he's completely covered with a bad shoulder. There's just no way. There's like a 5% chance of that. There's a bigger chance of us making the playoffs right now than him completing that 50-50 ball. Like, that was just ridiculous. That's the type of mental sharpness I'm talking about from Cam Newton today. Like, and for the past 5 games, too. He's been doing it ever since Pittsburgh. I don't know what's gotten into him, and maybe it's something in the water in Charlotte, but I tell you, maybe it's that concussion he had years ago, but his decision making has definitely declined. And I don't know what we're going to do, but we need to make a decision on that shoulder in the offseason. It needs to happen. We need to take a serious, honest look at that shoulder and make a serious, honest discussion and decision on that. And stick with it. And do it in the offseason. Not during preseason. Not when we're already 6-10 in the next year. No. this offseason. And I'm dead serious about that. And I think we should bench him for the next two and tank the next two games. That's what I think we ought to do. To prevent his shoulder from getting further injury and prevent Christian McCaffrey from getting further injury, we need to bench him as well. He's our total offense right now. He's 75% of our offense. If he goes down, our season's dead next year too. I'm talking long-term effects. I'm thinking 3 years down the road. What if he goes down with a knee injury or something like that, and he's just never able to run the same way again like Cam is with his shoulder? Well, God forbid that would happen.
No doubt.
What are we gonna do? We need to rest Christian McCaffrey. He's I love his enthusiasm, and I love his fire, and I love his interest in going out there and being able to take the next play without having to get the breathing mask. But we got to get some experience for the rookies too, and the second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers. We got to get these people involved, so that way we have a future in this team. Not just, oh, it's Christian McCaffrey, we'll be fine. Or, oh, it's Cam Newton, and that shoulder soreness doesn't matter. Stop letting these problems fester. And we can start right now with Cam's shoulder. Right now, folks. There's people still wanting us to draft another quarterback. There's people wanting us to trade Cam Newton. And that's not new, folks. That's not new. The fan base has been after Cam's head since day one. At least a third of this fan base, anyway. Now it's up to half the fan base. And the people that have joined into that are joining in because of his shoulder injury and because of his bad decision making. When is this bandwagon going to end? That's what I'm wondering. When is it going to end? Is it going to end when we take an honest look at his shoulder? Or is it going to end when Cam Newton retires with a career-ending shoulder injury, or he retires without a ring? When is it going to end, folks? We got to make a decision long-term for this franchise, and it's just not... This offseason is going to be critical to that decision-making process. And I really do hope that we got some brains in that management right now, because right at this second, they sure aren't using them. They're letting these problems fester. Left tackle. It started with left tackle. We had I'm not even going to go into that rant again. I'm not going to do it. But it started there. Realistically, it started there. I give Gettleman his 2 years of time, because we had a lot bigger problems to deal with. But after that, no excuse. None. The fact that we just addressed that in this offseason, the fact that we just addressed corner position depth-wise this offseason concerns me greatly. And now we have a safety problem too. Are we going to re-sign Eric Reed? I believe so. I vote to re-sign Eric Reed. He's done his part. But I'm not going to get into that until I get into the safety position. So let's get into running back. Christian McCaffrey, A. Everybody knows Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey, and he's our total offense right now. He's been doing great. He's been catching passes. He does it all. He does it all. He even threw a pass today. I mean, the guy's just like Superman. He's taking everything on his back on this offense, and he's carrying this offense like a huge, humongous boulder. So I give him his due, man. What an incredible guy. And I give the general manager that drafted him credit too. And Ron as well. Good draft pick. See, this is why when you draft in the lower third, you tend to pick up these people. Or in the middle of the order. When you're in the lower third with all the playoff teams, you're not getting jack out of the top 10, top 15 players. You're not getting jack. You're getting the B-rated people in each one of those positions. And I've said it multiple times. If we have a need, we need to be in the middle of the order at least in order to get these people. And the very next thing we need is to look at that defensive line. But I would like to see us draft a wide receiver late round. Speaking of wide receiver, I'm going to give these guys... what should I give them? I mean, we had some open guys, but I'm going to give the corners of the Saints some respect because they've earned it. They played really well this year, and they've held some of the best wide receivers out there to a certain amount of yards, and it's... So I give them their due. I'll give them a B plus for now. I would give them an A minus, but the fact that they had the opportunity to get open in those certain situations and they didn't in clutch situations. So, it's been an ongoing issue. We just don't have that number one wide receiver. Like, well, let me tell you how this offense operates. We have that when we had that number one wide receiver like Funchess out there, or when we had Ted Ginn, back in the early days, he was the distraction. Everybody was doubling up on him, and all the rest of these guys could get open. Now that we don't have that anymore, we have Funchess, who's been dropping balls like a maniac. Not quite as bad as Kelvin Benjamin did, and kept blaming it on Cam. Anyway, enough about that. These guys have been doubled up over the middle in medium passing lanes. So we've been settling for these check downs. We've been settling for these easy short passes like screens and stuff like that because of that reason. So in that regard, I'd rather see us either have Torrey Smith out there healthy as he can be, or us draft a number one wide receiver. Because I don't think Funchess is going to cut it if we want to properly run this offense the way Norv Turner wants to run it. You've got Christian McCaffrey out there as the person that's being looked at, and he's able to get these yards anyway, despite being doubled in some situations. But we need that number one wide receiver out there. We need Torrey Smith, and we need a draft pick. So, tight end, we didn't really see much of Ian Thomas today. And I don't think it was from the lack of him being able to get open. I feel like they were doubling him. I'd have to look at those tapes again to see where he is on certain plays, but I think he's getting doubled. So, yeah, I'm not going to really touch on Ian Thomas too much, but we'll give him a B plus just to give him the benefit of the doubt. Uh, Offensive line. Now herein lies the problem that we had today. Now the Saints have a halfway decent pass rush. I'm not going to say great, but I will say a good pass rush, and it did give us some trouble. Um, Trey Turner had that holding call. Trying to keep him out. I don't fault him for that. Um, but it did kill a drive. It did kill a drive. I will say that. My biggest issue is with Van Rotten. Again, for the sixth week in a row, this guy just allows a sack and allows a quarterback pressure. You cannot do that as a guard. What are you doing? Like, we got to get rid of this guy, man. Like, I just don't see him sticking in the offseason. I don't see him sticking further than that. If he does, I'm going to be very, very surprised and not happy. Based on what I've seen this year, I'm definitely not going to be happy about that if he stays. He even caused Ryan Khalil to go over there and pick up his slack one play. Like, you can't ask a veteran center that's been around for ages with this franchise to have to pick up for a guard that's supposedly in the league for so many years and should know what he's doing. I don't even know what to tell you. Those were really well timed blitzes and really, really well planned out blitzes because Sean Payton knew exactly when and where to throw that blitz in. And one of them in particular came right through Clark and Van Rotten. Came right through him. And Van Rotten's just sitting there just looking like an idiot with nobody to block but the thin air. And all of a sudden, here comes this big rumbling defensive tackle or linebacker, I'm not sure which, and just kills Cam back there. You can't just sit there and expect to get. I don't even know what to do with him, man. Like, I'm not happy with him. He needs to go. He just straight up needs to go. He's a waste of cap space, and he's absolutely ticking me off. So, offensive line is a C plus. We didn't handle ourselves well against that pressure. We knew we had it. We knew it was coming, and we just didn't. The offensive line just looked like a bunch of guys just in uniforms out there in certain plays. Yeah, I can't stress how much we need protection for Cam. You build your franchise around the lines, offensively and defensively.
Not for him, from him.
And if you don't have that protection, offensive line wise, your quarterback's going to get killed. Simple as that. It is just that simple, folks. And we fail to address the problem. We put a band-aid over a gaping wound every time. So, let's go to the defense. What everybody's been waiting for, right? Here we go. Defensive line, front four. Good pressure today. Much improved, but not quite enough. Uh, we did put Breeze under pressure a good bit, but not quite anywhere close to where we should be. Uh, the announcers were pointing out KK is short, but I'm pointing out Shaq Thompson. And I think, the combination of both of them and Dontari Poe that has not been doing anything this year, just not even anything, is not a good combo for a winning successful pass rush. Uh, did we even hear Dontari Poe's name called at all in this game? Like, at all. Like, not even once. I haven't heard his name called since before the Pittsburgh game. That's been a long time, folks. Long time. Uh, well, I will give him credit. He did get that tackle last week, but that was the only time you heard his name called. Literally. You go back to all those games, you will never hear his name called at all. Um, there's several people that want him gone, and I'm agreeing with them. He's on my list as well. Everybody thinks he's a waste of cap space, and I agree. Based on that pass rush, I'm gonna give him a B minus because we're not quite where we need to be, but that was much improved. Defensive end was definitely a B plus. Much better pressure from Peppers. He actually knocked down a pass, I believe. And Mario got in there too, so that was good. Um, so it's improving, but it's not anywhere close to where we want it to be or where it should be. Before the Pittsburgh game. So yeah, I'm expecting Eric Washington, who is originally a defensive line coach, to kind of keep working with them and just see what we can get done there. I think part of that was didn't the announcer say something about the Saints just messing around with their offensive line? Like they had to make makeshift adjustments and stuff to their offensive line. I thought I heard that, but I wasn't sure. If somebody can confirm that, that would be great. But if that's the case, then no wonder we were getting such good pressure, because the Saints line has been very lackluster since the Cowboys game, since their loss to the Cowboys. Now that being said, and I could be way off with that, so just correct me if I'm wrong. I would appreciate it, guys. Um, so here's what we need to look at next, and it's corner position. And I keep saying that we need a number 3 corner. Dante Jackson and Bradbury are good, but we need a number 3. Every time I see one of those two go down, it just scares me to death because of what we have at number 3 at corner depth. Captain Munderland's supposed to be second string, but he's starting somewhere else in nickel, I believe. Nickel packages, I think. But uh, the fact that we're looking at Corn Elder and Galden as our next man up at corner, scary thought. We need to take a very serious and thorough look at corner position in the offseason, depth wise. What I suggest we do is we use our third and fourth draft picks like we did before, and we draft two corners. And one of them is going to pan out. The other one probably not with the fourth round, you know. But we'll get that steal in the third round, and that'll be our number 3 corner. And we just keep working our way up until we get corner position figured out. Every year, third and fourth pick, until we get our depth chart filled out with people that we need at corner. That's my suggestion. That's what I would do. I hate to use 2 draft picks on corners every draft, but whatever is necessary is necessary. If that's the strategy that's been working, keep doing it. But I'd have to say that Dante cost us just as much as he helped us today. And I mean that's a bold statement, but it's true. And then there's Captain Munnerlyn. There's some games where you just say, oh, Captain Munnerlyn might actually be decent. There's some plays where you think, oh, Captain Munnerlyn can do such and such on defense, and we should keep him on the roster. But then there's other plays, and I'm mentioning one in particular, where he just looked totally lost. Even the announcers pointed this out. It was a cover 2 defense. Simple. And he just looks like, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be. I have no idea who I'm supposed to cover. It's just like, come on, Captain. You've been in our system how long and you can't figure out a cover 2? Know the playbook, dude. Like, God. Mercy. I can count on one hand the amount of times every single game this year where he just looks lost on the defense in a coverage somewhere and he has no idea where he's supposed to be. That man drives me absolutely crazy. You got the Jekyll and Hyde Captain Munnerlyn. You got the one sided captain where he's just like, oh, I can tackle people. I can do everything I'm supposed to be doing. Cover everybody like he did today for a good chunk of it. And then the other side of him is just like, derp, 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 derp. Like, come on, man. Can we get some consistency here? Like, for real. I keep saying he's garbage in coverage, but realistically, he proved me wrong on some of those plays. He had 2 pass breakups in a row, and then he just takes a play off and just decides, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. Which captain are we getting here? Are we getting a good... We need better than this. We need to do better than this at corner. I'm sorry, but we need to do better. This guy needs to go. As soon as we can move him, we need to where it helps us out cap-wise and doesn't hurt us penalty-wise. Because this is just getting ridiculous. Trade him for a draft pick, something. Just get us something for him. Don't just cut him. He's still worth something on the open market. Trade him. You know? But Bradbury did okay. I'm not going to fault him too much. He had his moments where he choked too, but you know, he had his moments too where he did halfway decently good, you know? So I mean, again, it's Jekyll and Hyde corner play this year. And everybody still wants Dante Jackson supposedly in the Pro Bowl. I disagree with that statement because when I was looking on Facebook, and I mentioned this in the last stream, I read about 6/7 of the fan base does not want to give him a vote, and I'm agreeing with him. So I don't know where people are getting that statement from, but no, or that idea from. But no, that's just simply not true. Um, Getting into free safety and strong safety, uh, Eric Reed and Mike Adams, you know, they had their moments where they got their tackles. They also had their moments where they missed tackles and took lazy angles. You know, so but I can't I definitely can't fault this defense for playing with heart today. You know, they played with some real heart today. That's what we've been asking for, and that's what we've been needing on defense. And they did it. So, you know, kudos to them for all that. But I'll give them their due grade wise for that reason. Uh, B plus, B plus, corners B minus. That's how I feel about that one. Linebackers, excellent job. I feel like Luke and Thomas Davis were the most motivated people on this defense the entire day. They looked like they were honed in. Thomas Davis went off, man. He went off today. I don't know what motivated that man, but I bet you it was comments from social media because he got responded to it. He was one unhappy customer. I'll say that much. And he used all that as motivation on the field. Kudos to him, man. Like that's the Thomas Davis we remember right there. That we know and love. So, kudos to him, but Shaq Thompson is the one that's bringing the grade down. I mean, it's clear. It's clear which one of them is. And I'm not to the point where I want to see Mayo start, but I am to the point where Shaq needs to step up in certain situations. He knows what those situations are. We all know what those situations are. He needs to step up. So, B plus grade, linebackers because of Shaq. I like the dude. I want him to stay. I just don't feel like he's performing as well as he should. Vernon Butler. Vernon Butler. I forgot to mention him. He got a sack today. He did all right. There's moments where I wish he would have taken better angles on tackles, but you know, he got kind of lazy like everybody else did. But yeah, he did all right. Special teams, much better job. Specifically, Ben Jacobs. He did not cause a penalty on special teams again, like he did most games. Way to go, Ben Jacobs. And I should not be having to praise him for that, considering the fact that he shouldn't be making these penalties anyway, but, good job. Yeah. Um, the punting I feel like could be better, but it's a division game. What do you want, right? Catanzaro made his kicks. Well, you make that extra point, um, extra point kick. I don't think he made a field goal kick, did he? No, he only made those two. He only made that one extra point. So yeah, I give special teams an A. I mean that's it's pretty consistent grades from most of these guys, and they know what's expected of them. They know what they need to do, and let's just talk about our future. Let's talk about the future here. Again, same players I want gone. Nothing's changed on my list. Um, KK Short has underperformed, but I feel like once we light the fire in this defense like we did today, and put the proper pass rush into place, like I've been saying, and I called it. I was right. The pass rush was the source of the problem. Because everybody started doing their job better as soon as that happened. Everybody. So, um, if these guys will get their act together and start playing better, then we've got a shot at fixing our defense. Not at the playoffs. Nope. Playoffs are dead. Playoffs are dead. They died tonight. But fixing our defense, we have a shot. Um, what I saw tonight was discipline. I saw heart. I didn't see execution, but I saw discipline and heart. And that's a starting point. That's a huge starting point for turning this defense back in the right direction. And this whole team in the right direction again. Uh, so with that being said, we've got the Falcons next week. Next on Sunday. Should be a win. Just kidding. It's going to be a loss. Guys, it's going to be a loss. We all know this. But, hey, at least we can go into the sunset knowing that we at least put our best effort up against the Saints. And we came up that close. That's what's important here. We came up that close. We made it tough. And that's respectable. I'm not thrilled that we're going to be losing our next three, but we at least put up our best effort. We did our best going into the biggest game in December. Oh, excuse the yawn, people. But and we came up a little short. So with that in mind, my recommendation is tank. I love this team. I love these players. And I just hope we can right the ship again. Long term and short term. Alright, so with that in mind, I will see you guys for the pregame stream on next Sunday. And let me just go through the chat messages here before I call this a stream. Um, More Cam hate. He's had 3 road games back to back, and the O line has had a lot of injuries lately. Yes, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Right there. That comment. That's exactly what I was going to point out. So, with that in mind, our pass rush, that explains why we were doing so well in pass rush. But we did bring it today. We brought our hearts, and we brought everything in here today that we needed to on defense. And it just wasn't enough. So that in mind, I'm gonna call this a stream, and I'll see you guys for a pregame of the Atlanta game in Atlanta on Sunday at about 12:45 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll see you guys there. Remember, we're a family. Take this loss with heart. Take it with dignity, and show respect. Be examples for our fan base. Don't be like all the other fans out there that when they take losses, they're just like, oh, F this team or F that team, Show some respect and you'll get respect. So that's kind of what I'm going to give you guys for this week. Take it with some class. Take it with dignity and move on. And we'll get this team back together eventually. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on Sunday. If you're new to this channel and onto this live stream, be sure to check out previous live streams. I do pregame, halftime, and postgame streams for regular season games, as well as postseason when we actually make it to the postseason. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any new live streams or videos from me or this channel. And I will see you guys next time. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. How do we fix this team? I welcome everything. Positive, constructive criticism. Thank you guys so much. Keep pounding. Panthers Nation family. We'll get through this together. Peace.